Hello, everybody. So we are going to start with the first part of the course, which is the chapter number two, which is the unit conversion, or mainly what we're going to cover is the unit conversion. So the objectives that we want to achieve when we cover this chapter is first we need to know how to convert a quantity expressed in one set of units into its equivalent in another unit that's consistent with the first unit, which means that, for example, if you have or you know that there is a distance of, let's say, 10 meters, and you want to convert this into centimeters, so you multiply this by 100. So this is a unit conversion. You're converting meter to centimeter. There are many other things or many other conversions that we're going to cover in this chapter, and this is a very important skill that we need to acquire, or any engineer must acquire. So this conversion factor is going to be one big thing that we are going to discuss here. The second thing is that we need to learn the different systems of units. The system of units is a group of units that are used or commonly used together. So this is important for unit conversion, to be familiar with the system of units, so you know how to convert from one system to another. Before we start, there is an introduction that I believe is very important, that must be well understood to feel the importance of this topic that we are going through now. So here we're talking about units of measurable dimensional quantities. The measurable means that's something that we can measure or count. And dimensional, it means that it has dimensions, and we will talk about this shortly or in the next video. So if you have any quantity, we define the quantity by two things: the numerical value and the unit. And this is a very intuitive thing. For example, if you have something like this, you have 3 meters, you have 10 kilograms, 45 minutes, 20 newtons. So you have to have both the numerical value and the unit in order to fully understand the quantity and understand how to deal with this quantity. So the units are very important when you define a quantity, and this is for many reasons. And the first thing is that you can identify the type of quantity of the number. So if I'm saying that you have or you have a quantity that is equal to 3, without saying that it's meters, then you don't know if it's length, if it's mass, if it's distance, if it's velocity, if it's force. There's no way you can tell by just looking at the number. But if you know that it's 3 meters, then you know that this is a distance. If you have a quantity of 10 kilograms, you know it's mass. 45 minutes, it's time. 20 newtons, it's force. So this is all known by just the understanding of the unit. So you can know what kind of quantity that you're dealing with by just knowing what units that we are using. So this is a very important thing. The second thing is that, so here, for example, 10 meters is a distance, 50 kilogram mass, 30 newtons is force. This is something that we just mentioned. The second point is that it's important to know the units to determine and feel the value of a quantity. And this is a very important thing, that you have to have a feeling of the quantity. For example, if I tell you that I waited for one, so you are waiting for your friend, and you were waiting for him for some time. So I told you I waited for one. Is this good news or bad news? You cannot tell without knowing the units. So if I told you that I waited for 1 minute, it's not a big deal. It's just 1 minute. But if I told you I waited for 1 hour, now it's a big problem. If I waited for 1 day, it's a disaster. So it's still, the number is the same. 1 is 1, but you cannot understand or feel the value of this one without knowing the units. So the units are very important. It's a very, very important thing. You cannot just write a number without its units. You're missing a big part. And even if you know now that it's time, you don't know how big or small this time is, if it's long time or short time. For example, if I tell you that this bag weighs 10 stones, can you tell if this bag is heavy or light? If of course if you know that, so this is one thing that might be new to many of us, that stones is a unit of mass. It's like gram and kilogram, and all these are units of mass. So there is one unit that's called stones. I don't know what this stone is, if it's something that is big or small, it's like ton or it's like gram, I don't know, but this is a unit. So in order to answer this question, is this bag heavy or light, you have to have a feeling of this unit. You have to have something in your mind that can translate this unit into something that you feel you can understand. So this is a very important thing that the units may give for us, that you can feel the value. It's not just knowing what type of quantity is this, you can feel the value of this quantity. The third thing is that it dictates the possibility of adding and subtracting quantities. So for example, if I tell you if it's possible that you add 5 kilograms to 10 hours, of course it's not possible, because they're two different things. Although you can add 5 to 10 to be 15, but you cannot add these two quantities because they're not the same. You cannot add time to mass. So from this you can understand why the units are important. The units are very, very, very important thing, and that's why the units must be written. And I'm making this whole slide just to emphasize on this concept, that the units must be written. It's not an option. It's not something that you can do or you cannot do. It is something that must be done. Units of any dimensional quantity. I'm gonna tell you shortly or next time what we mean by dimensional quantity. But for now, the dimensional quantity, it's a quantity that has dimensions, has units. There are some quantities that don't have units, and we will take some examples in this chapter and the next one. But if you have a dimensional quantity, which means that it's a quantity that has units, then the units must be written. It must be written. I'm emphasizing on this because I see a lot of cases for students who passed a lot of chemical engineering courses, and they're close to graduation and they still don't write units. This is a fatal mistake. If you have a quantity that has units and you don't write a unit, it is a fatal mistake. It's totally unacceptable. So please never ever write a dimensional quantity without its units. It's not an option. It is a mandatory thing that you have to do. You have to write the units of any dimensional quantity. So I hope I made this point clear, and I made the importance of writing the units clear for you. So I'm gonna stop here, and next time we are going to discuss the next part, which is the difference between units and dimensions. So I'll see you then, inshallah. Goodbye.